Mountain, Island, Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Switchblade, Stab Wound, Red Mage, Blue Mage.
Take it away!
Welcome to Red Mage, Blue Mage. I'm Kenny and I play blue.
I'm Amber and I play red. Wah, wah, wah.
You look exasperated with my intro.
I wasn't ready for that kind of excitement or exuberance this early in the morning.
This is a psych myself up. I haven't slept in 24 hours. I'm jazzed up. I'm ready to go. I'm pushing myself through this right now.
You baby. Only 24 hours? Try
How long has it been
72.
Really?
I don't sleep anymore. What is sleep? I don't
sleep anymore.
I swear to God. Okay, we're getting real on Red Mage, Blue Mage right now. If I have any more dreams about my ex, I'm going to just murder myself.
Oh, no.
I don't know what is happening with my brain right now. Maybe it's I'm drinking like 6 espressos a day.
I think that's it.
And it's unlocking some buried
caffeine reservoirs.
Yeah, it's unlocking buried memories, and they're coming out in the like lucid-ish states of sleep that I experience now, and it's tsunamis and tornadoes and my ex.
Yeah,
so I don't sleep.
I don't know how much I subscribe to this, but I kind of do. The idea that certain dreams that everybody seems to have, or a lot of people seem to have specific meanings. Not like they're foretelling anything, but just like you have dreams of your teeth falling out. You're stressed. You're anxious. You have dreams of tornadoes. I've always heard that means you're worried about some catastrophe, some disaster, basically.
Speaking of disasters and catastrophes, let's talk about
Secret Lair.
Yeah, let's talk about our first subject, the Secret Lairs.
Dateline, Dominaria, 4823. This is your multiverse breaking news.
Okay, so ironically, even though this is our breaking news section, at this point this is not breaking news. Even when we're recording this,
no,
it's not breaking news.
God, you know what? I think magic is just too fast for me.
It's a two-edged thing here for content creators. Like, because I think about the people that I watch who are really on top of it. It's their full-time job, and they release videos. Like an announcement's made, they release a video. It's a blessing in the sense that they have a constant stream of stuff to comment on and make content about. But on the flip side, it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, even us, like lagging behind on the announcements, it's kind of exhausting.
I mean, just from a podcast perspective, like I see obviously news when it comes out via the places I go to, aka Twitter mostly. And to me, I mean, if you're a dedicated listener and this is like, you know, episode 926 that you're on, you know that I am a very chillax, usually don't buy into a lot of this instant gratification hype stuff, because it's not really, well, we just talked about it. I don't sleep and I can't keep up with it because I'm 68 years old. I don't know. It's just really difficult. I feel like you said, it's like a two-edged sword. On one hand, there will never be nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
at the same time, there's always something to talk about.
Yeah, I would say the succinct way is like there's always something to talk about, and the flip side of that is there's never a break.
Yes, and there's never a break. Let me just think. What even happened? I'm seasoned up. Whatever.
So what happened is, this is from November 25th.
Whoa.
About a month ago at this point.
It's Christmas over here.
Yeah, this is the Secret Versary superdrop. So you remember when Secret Lairs first became a thing?
Yes.
Which you ordered from the very original Secret Lairs.
I was, I remember it distinctly because I was in a shoe store looking at, everyone was looking at shoes, and I was sitting on a shoe trying stool buying goblets.
Which is very on brand, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, they announced here's Secret Lairs, and they did what they call a super drop, which is a bunch of different sets of these Secret Lairs, where it's a set of 4 or 5 or however many cards with custom art. They're super blinged out. You order them straight from Wizards. That's the idea. And then throughout the year, they've released more of these sets, not super drops where they released a bunch, but like individual sets. And it's been pretty continuous throughout the year. And we've talked about Secret Lairs many a time. But today we're here to talk about super drops, this super drop in particular, and then also just looking back over 1 year of Secret Lair. What do we think? So let's start with the super drops. So are you there right now?
Yeah, I'm looking. I am looking respectfully.
Here's what I want to do. I'm going to just go through set by set. I'll say what they are, and then I want your 1 line, 1 sentence, 1 word, whatever you want to do response.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about them together. So first, we have a box of rocks with Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Commander Sphere, Darksteel Ingot, and Gilded Lotus with kind of cartoony, bright, candy-ish looking art. Moving on. Next up, Artist Series, Seb McKinnon. Okay, one of our favorite artists. And in this we have Swamp, Sower of Temptation, Damnation, and Enchanted Evening, all with good old dark, macabre, fairy tale Seb McKinnon art. Interesting. I'm surprised at that reaction. Let's move on. Happy Little Gathering. It is a series of 10 basic lands, 2 of each, and the art is original art by Bob Ross, the PBS painter man.
Do you want my reaction now?
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is so interesting. Okay, moving on. This is not where I thought this would go. I know what your reaction is going to be to this one, I'm pretty sure. Party Hard, Shred Harder. These are like metal band posters. That's the style for Magic cards. We have Anguish, Unmaking, Assassin's Trophy, Decimate, Dreadbore, and Thraxamundar.
AccessibiliDON'T.
Oh my god. And finally, we have We Hope You Like Squirrels, featuring Chitter of the Squirrel, Croson Beast, which is a squirrel, Squirrel Mob, Squirrel Wrangler, Swarm Yard, and Squirrel Token.
No thanks.
Yeah, we have consensus on that one. Okay. And also you can buy all of them together if you're Josh and you're a filthy, dirty Magic Finance collector. I'm just kidding. You're allowed to collect Magic cards for financial reasons.
That was more aimed at Josh specifically.
Yeah, maybe. Love you, Josh.
Gross. I don't need to hear that on my podcast.
Okay, so I guess let's start with just very quickly what we agree on. We both looked at the squirrel thing. We're like, whatever.
I don't care about squirrels. We hope you like squirrels. I don't care about goddamn squirrels.
Squirrels are kind of a meme in the Magic community.
I get this, but still.
Mark Rosewater is like in love with squirrels in Magic for whatever reason. And I think there's a subset of Magic players who like the memeability of these cards. I think the name is funny. We hope you like squirrels. I can just imagine Mark Rosewater making this by himself late at night, being like, I hope they like squirrels.
Sorry.
I hope nobody buys this.
Sorry,
no
Mark.
squirrels.
I hope like of all of these sets, this is like two people.
I will appreciate that they did this in a Secret Lair. I kind of like Secret Lair. This is kind of getting into our future topic. I like Secret Lair as a place to test and try out things.
Sure.
And see how they do. Because if you put out, like, people have been, like, there's a vocal set of Magic players who have been demanding squirrels for the last X years. And they don't, like, Wizards doesn't know, is this just a really loud minority? Or does, like, would people just go nuts? Pun intended, over squirrels.
Because squirrels like nuts.
Would they go crazy over that? But, like, Secret Lair is, like, the perfect place to test.
Sure.
And see how it does. If that goes, gangbusters, great. Then we can introduce squirrels in the next set that we're making, whatever. But anyway, we're not really interested in that. It sounds like you're not super interested in a box of rocks,
No.
the mana rocks. I'm not either. I think we've touched on this. I think mana rocks are kind of boring in general.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
I think the artwork, like, not to knock the artwork's great. I think the artwork is really cool. The reason why I'm meh about it is because I wouldn't use these cards. Like, I mean, yeah, I could use them, but like they don't do anything for me.
You personally wouldn't put them in your decks.
Yeah, I think I would buy like a play mat of Arcane Signets. Very pretty.
Yeah, it is.
But like, I'm not really drawn to these cards themselves because, like, again, it's not just art; it's also usability. Like, will I use these cards or something?
Right.
Like, even with the squirrels, like, I get it. Like what you're saying, if there is a minority of players who really want squirrel stuff, I mean, I'm happy for them. Like, you got your special squirrel cards.
Yeah.
Good. But
there are probably some players who look at the goblin set that you bought and were like, fucking goblins,
Yeah.
Really? More goblins?
Yeah, exactly. But not a single one of them was wearing a cowboy hat, which is unfortunate. Or was
Future
one of
set.
one? Was the sharpshooter wearing a hat? I can't
I don't
remember.
think so.
Oh well, doesn't matter.
Next, the surprising one, as far as your reaction goes, Artist Series Seb McKinnon.
I mean, I love Sam McKinnon's art, but it's the same thing. It's like, I don't play black normally. Swamp.
It's these specific cards.
And it's like, is it the same price as everybody else?
I think so.
$39.99.
And you get these 4 cards.
And you get these 4 cards, one of which is a swamp.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
A full art swamp.
Yes, it's very pretty. But at the same time, I'm like, it's like what I just said with the box of rocks. It's like, these aren't cards I would use. They're beautiful. I mean, Damnation's great, but I don't play black very often.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah, I understand that. I think this one is cool for a couple reasons. I mean, Seb McKinnon, we like his art, obviously. The Damnation art, when it got spoiled, I was like, holy moly. I was kind of sad because I had just purchased a Time Spiral, a Time Spiral block copy of Damnation, and for my cube, and I think I would have bought this set instead to have the Seb McKinnon art.
Yeah, sure.
But that's okay.
That's all right.
So I like his art. Obviously, that's a cool part. These are my colors, so I think it's another reason I'm drawn to this.
Sure.
But also, this is unique in a couple ways because one, this is all art that tells a single story is the idea.
Yep, it's pretty cool.
Which is very neat. And also, I am intrigued by the fact that this is called Artist Series Seb McKinnon, which I think very strongly implies that we will get other artists with their own sets.
Well, sure, obviously. I mean, that would make sense, especially with the next one.
Yes. The next one being Happy Little Gathering, which are the basic lands by Bob Ross, which is the one you seemed like most...
Yeah, of all of these sets, I think this is the one that I would have bought if I was into these kinds of things, because I can use all of this, and they're very pretty.
They're basic lands.
They're basic lands, and they're very pretty. Like, I like Bob Ross a lot, so it's one of those where it was the only one I would have considered purchasing. I didn't purchase any of these, so.
Nor did I. I wound up not purchasing any. I remember these got announced, and this one, to me, this is kind of the antithesis of the Walking Dead partnership, because obviously they're partnering with Bob Ross's estate, whoever's managing his assets now. And if you just looked at these lands and took the names off, they would be
perfect.
Great lands in a core set. They just match 100%. They fit like a glove into the Magic world. Whereas the Walking Dead one is like whiplash.
Yeah.
As far as a fit.
Sure.
I think it's really cool. I also think I remember reading when they announced these, they were talking about trying to choose the artwork they wanted to use for these. And they said, we thought that choosing swamps was going to be really difficult, like finding good swamp art from Bob Ross. And they said that was actually really easy. Do you know what land they had the most trouble with?
Probably plains.
Yep. the planes. And you can actually kind of tell because if you look at the art for the planes, there's like zoomed in.
Yep.
Because he loves mountains, he loves depth of field, and planes that's hard to get across, I think.
Yep. Wow, I'm a genius.
You are a genius.
I just think about Bob Ross's work, and it's all trees,
mountains,
and sprawling vistas, and mountains in the background, and waterfalls and stuff.
And happy little trees.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have trees on the plane.
Well, you can have trees on a plane, but they have to be sparse. Can't be a forest.
Yeah. Right. Next, we have Party Hard, Shred Harder, the metal poster cards.
So first and foremost, these cards are beautiful. They are fantastic. They are super fucking cool. Like, they are awesome. Looking at them, it's like looking at a metal band's poster.
And what a fun challenge for the artists who did this.
Yeah, and like it's most of them are borderless. There's no border on it. They're almost
kind of like a suggested border.
Yeah, and the same time they also, I mean, they look like proxies.
Yeah, definitely.
They look like legit like a proxy, right? So the reason why I gave them AccessibiliDON'T, that was my like gut reaction, is because they don't look like a Magic the Gathering card. Like when I first saw this, I was like, oh, these are cool posters. Oh, these are cards. Imagine playing this against somebody who's been, playing Magic for a while, and then it's like, wait, what? Is this even real? Are these your real cards? These aren't real cards. This is a proxy. Do you even have this card? Like, there's that. And then it's like, as far as like me looking for stuff. So a big thing about user experience, user interface is you want to build your frameworks in ways that are instantly recognizable. You can find what you're looking for pretty quick, fast. And when you set up your templates for things, they're things that people look for are in the same place constantly. So like, that's why search bars for the most part in all websites are in the top right corner, because that's how it started out. And that's where everybody looks now. And it's really, really hard to break that format, because then you start to make your format almost not usable to a certain degree. It's less accessible.
Or it's like another example, when Windows, I forget what edition it was, they got rid of the Windows button for a minute on your screen, and there was just outrage, and they had to add it back because it was hard for people to use.
Yeah, hard for people to use, hard to find. You can change stuff over time, but it has to be gradual and just gradual design. But anyway, so this one, the reason why I said that is because they, like, first off, metal band fonts are notorious for being like not legible or readable. Either one of them. You can't find it. You have a hard time reading it because most of the time it just looks like a pile of branches just you drop on the ground, and then it's a font.
Yeah, I think Thraxamundar, if you weren't already familiar with the card Thraxamundar, I don't know how you would read this.
No. Yeah, exactly. And then if you look at where the mana cost is at, it's all in different places on these cards. Like Dreadbore is down in the mid, almost in the mid 2/3 of the card. I can't even say what that the one you just said, Thraxamundar, up at the top centered middle. Then you have Decimate in the top third right. Assassin's Trophy is right in the middle at the top, like within the first third, and then same with Anguished Unmaking. So it's all over the place. I think it's cool. They are very unique.
Yep. I think comparing them to proxies is a really good place to go, because if someone plays a proxy in like a commander game, which is where I see these cards probably being played most often.
Yeah.
If somebody plays a proxy against you, like, you're going to see some weird stuff.
Yes. And I think it's fine. Like I think it's completely fine. It's just that's my only critique, and it's really doesn't really stand. Like, it stands from a good critique point, but for what this is, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
If I was more of a metal person, like I was more into this aesthetic and I liked this genre of music, I would definitely buy these. But it's not me.
I do like metal, and these are like, I have most of these cards in the cube, and I was thinking about getting them, like getting this set as like blinging out the cube, but I already have, like you were saying, kind of accessibility issues with the cube because I have some textless cards and I have some foreign cards just because of I wasn't able to buy them any other way at the time. And every single time I play with people and those cards come up, people ask to clarify, what does this card do?
Right.
Which is kind of a pain, you know?
Yep.
So yeah. And that's it. Okay. So that's the super drop. Those are our overall opinions of this particular set. As usual for us with Secret Lair, do you like these cards? Are they cool? Like, the only real set that I've seen that I had personal problems with was The Walking Dead, which we had a whole episode about that. Everything else has mostly been, is this a cool thing that you would like to bling out your deck, whatever format you're in? If so, go for it. It's fine. Would you say that would sum up your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Secret Lair's for. That's fine. I think it's perfectly fine. I've talked before, I think I like the idea, the concept of Secret Lair, so go for it. Have fun.
Thumbs up. Okay, now we mentioned already a little bit with the Artist series and the Bob Ross series, these interesting avenues that you could go down and different products that you might want. I'm interested to know what you would be interested in seeing, either in an Artist series or otherwise, in a future Secret Lair.
Goblin cowboys. Cowboy goblins. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want in my life.
Do you think that might be too niche of a desire? How many would you buy?
I would buy one Secret Lair, but then the multitudes of goblins out there who, like me, want to see more goblins would also be like, yeehaw, partner, why wasn't there a Walking Dead goblins? They could have done that. That'd have been fun. Everything should be goblins. No, I'm just joking. Am I? But I think, for me, more goblin cards would be super cool. And, like, other art styles, too. So,
yeah, I think I like Secret Lair's angle of you're going to see some art that is atypical of modern day, almost photorealistic fantasy art. You know what I mean?
yeah. They should hire me to make the next Goblin Secret Lair cards.
They should. That would be cool.
We'll see. No, I liked the idea what they did with Seb McKinnon's set and the Secret Versary, where it's like a set that tells a story. It would be very interesting to get a slow bad set or like a squeeze set where it's like it tells the story of this legendary goblin, and it's just 4 or 5 cards that show how they came to be, essentially.
They could definitely do that, especially for characters that are going to come back in like an upcoming set as a way to get us interested in the story and get like wet our whistle for what's going to happen in the story, what's going to happen in the set.
Wow. Well, wouldn't it be cool if a Secret Lair drop happened that had a story set? It was like they have the Artist series, then they have the story series, and every story drop of a Secret Lair came with like a little mini comic book. Dang.
That'd be awesome.
That would be so cool.
By that artist?
By that artist, yeah. With the cards that go with the story.
That would be awesome.
Wow.
Well, this fits in with our whole thesis about telling smaller stories and giving players ins to the story with your products. I think along with the same Artist series, I think they've got really good opportunities because there are a lot of enfranchised players who love old art and love the old artists, and bringing them back in. Like, I know they had, I think Kev Walker did a alt edition of Karn Liberated, and it got memed on a little bit because of the pose that he had. But it was also really beloved because it was in that old style, which is more abstracted, more painterly than we tend to see in newer cards.
Yeah, so they did Seb McKinnon, so obviously we would want a Niels Hom. Rebecca Guay would be like my like.
Yeah. I would like to see a Kev Walker Artist series. He was like a big artist like right when I came in. I feel like he was still like hitting a lot of those cards. in Mirrodin.
I'm not going to do any more market research for Wizards of the Coast and not tell them what I want. They got to figure it out.
Well, I'm trying to think of other things that might be interesting. I think other things they could drill down on are certain mechanics, I think. Mm-hmm. And like cards that a particular player would want to see. Like if they made a proliferate set, I would probably be like, hell yeah, let's go. I know, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Move on.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready?
I'm done with this topic. Like I said, I'm not giving them any more.
All right, fine. Let's fight then.
Once again, it's time for an academic debate between a civilized scholar and a homicidal brute. Let's begin.
Okay. Secret Lair, 1 year out. I want to evaluate how we thought Secret Lair did. And bear in mind, we've talked about Secret Lair on multiple podcasts over the course of the last year. A lot of what we had to say is, as we said in the first segment, it's cool if you like it. If you want these cards for your deck to pimp it out, go for it. Or we've also said that it's kind of like there's so much stuff coming out. We even said at the top of this show, there's just so much. It's a little bit, I don't know.
Daunting?
A little bit, yeah. So I wanted to touch on maybe some other things that we thought about 1 year of Secret Lair.
Well, unless I was interested in it, I didn't really pay attention to it.
They got announced, they flew by.
They flew by,
and
I'm like, whoop, whatever. Now, that's me. That's Amber, because I didn't want squirrels. I don't care about The Walking Dead. I don't even know what other ones came out. But because Explosion Sounds came out, and because it was Goblin cards I wanted, because I was in the middle of building a commander deck that was centered around exponential goblins, that was the only one I cared about. And I actually was like super, like I said, I was on my phone in a shoe carnival, sitting like 2 inches away from the floor, huddled in the back, hoping I had good Wi-Fi so I could buy Explosion Sounds when it dropped. I think from a business perspective, it is a very good move. Like if I was thinking purely as a company and I want to make money from a game that has highly customizable, Magic is just a very tailored to you experience. You can do that. To give people the option to buy these special cards that for the most part, are just reskinned cards that exist already to upgrade their commander decks or whatever other decks they have. Or their cube. It's genius. It's smart. Like from a pure business point of view.
especially because they do print on demand, basically.
Yes.
They say, here's a 2-week window, order the cards. Once you've ordered them, then we order the printing. So it's not like with actual packs of cards where they print tons and tons and then they're trying to sell them all.
Right. Which is, again, a very smart thing. So I think they probably did very well. And they probably did very well with the Walking Dead stuff, because what they did is they introduced a brand new cards, like new to the format, to Magic.
Yeah.
Which is, you already heard us talk about it. You know what our feelings are.
Our feeling is it's frightening. It's not a good precedent.
No. For MTG finance people, I think also this is a very lucrative opportunity because of the limited run aspect of it. That makes things very collectible.
You and I both have friends in Seth and Josh who have leanings towards the Magic finance side of things.
Yep.
Not that they're like alpha investments and sinking, $20,000 into cards or whatever.
That we know of.
But just that, yeah, Josh. But that the cards are these sets are being released, and I know Seth in the past has bought play sets of cards on the idea that this will accumulate value.
Yeah.
Josh the same way. So you're right. It's good for people who want to engage with the game that way too, which is cool. That's not a bad thing. So, speaking of those 2-week windows and you sitting in Shoe Carnival, placing your order, so this whole endeavor of Secret Lair is built on FOMO marketing, fear of missing out, right? Mm-hmm. It's like even their tagline, which they still have on the superdrop, it still says the same thing, where it says, miss a drop, it's gone. It's like in their marketing image. So they are banking on people being like, well, I've got to get it now, because if I don't, it's going to be so hard to get. It's going to be so much more expensive. Just in general, what do you think of that kind of marketing tactic?
It's a smart marketing tactic because people who are susceptible to that kind of feeling are going to pay for it. They're going to buy stuff because of that limited collection thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work for me. Like, if I had missed the goblin drop, I would have been sad about it, maybe for a little bit, but I wouldn't have, mm-hmm. there would have been more goblins. You know what I mean? Like, there's always, and I'm only going to be alive for so long anyway. Let's get real existential here.
Holy shit.
All this stuff that is surrounding me, all these books, all this garbage.
It's all dust.
It really truly is. Like, to me, I cannot think of anything in my past, like, that I felt bad that I missed buying when it first came out.
A possession?
Yeah, I can't think of a single thing in my a thing, right? Like, it's the same reason why I hate the term doorbuster so much, because there is nothing merchandise wise that I would ever feel like I would have to kick a door down to get to it.
Not even a goblin cowboy?
Not even a goblin cowboy. He's there. He's on the other side of the door. You know what? You come to me when you're ready, goblin cowboy. Like, it'll be fine. Like, I have a life to live. I will go draw my own goblin cowboy while I wait for a better looking goblin cowboy to show up. So it's okay. Like, it's okay. So for me, sometimes it does work on me. Like, there are things that I do want though, right? And so I will go get it. Example, explosion sounds. I really wanted that goblin set, so I got it. I think it's smart. I think it's a smart tactic for how the majority of our society right now operates on this like,
it's like Black Friday, right?
Constantly. Now, I think it's a smart marketing tactic for how our society lives currently, doesn't mean I agree with how our society buys things currently.
Two different ideas.
It is. So I can see things from different perspectives. From a business perspective, great. From a impact on our natural world and how we as people
need to continue to live.
Yes, but I'm just like the instant gratification. There's a term for it, and I'm struggling right now because I've only had 2 hours of tornado dreams for sleep, where it's this very what's the word for it? It's not expendable. It's not disposable. It's basically what I'm getting at is I don't like the mentality of buy something quickly now, you use it for a few weeks, and then you just throw it away, right? Like, it's not a healthy mentality. And I think sometimes even in just how we are with content creation, where it's like you have to get a video out this week, otherwise you're no longer relevant, because just how we consume not even our material goods but also our information is just so one and done. One thing happens, we get it, we vampire it, we suck it dry, we move on to the next thing. And if it doesn't show back up again for us, then that person who's putting out content is obsolete. I hate that. Or
you look at the graph of how a video is watched, and it's huge spike on the first day, and then falls
right.
off the cliff.
And I think we see that in our materials, and unfortunately, secret layer drops are just feeding into that cycle. And for me, we already just talked about at the beginning where it's just like things are too much too fast. And I hate sounding like I'm old and out of time, like outside of the times. I mean, I'm 32, so I don't know, whatever. I'm getting old. My back hurts every day. I can't drink caffeine anymore, or else I think about tsunamis while I sleep. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I know smarter people. Oh my God, retake. Don't laugh. Your face. Smarter people than me have discussed this way more intelligently and can put it better. Don't. He's making a lip face at me like, oh, you poor BB. Don't patronize me, you piece of shit. I know what I'm saying. I'm saying that I'm not as smart as some people on the subject because I am not an economist.
Yeah, but I mean, you are a person who takes part in the economy, and you're also a person, like, you come at it from the perspective of someone who works for a company and tries to, like, this is why your gut reaction when I say, what do you think of it? You go to, it's a smart business decision, right?
Right. From a social aspect, I think it's more gray, like I feel
right.
Very,
which is more of like a society thing than a Wizards of the Coast thing.
Right. I try to be a conscious consumer because I used to be that person who would be like, nickel and dime myself to death and, oh, that's shiny, I will get that right now because it makes me feel good. I feel good when I buy something new, but now I'm in debt. And I'm trying to, and then also like the things we buy, like I hate going into a Goodwill and just seeing all these clown figurines,
discarded things.
The sad clown figurines, the Jesus painted on a piece of wood.
Yeah, I know.
The plastic toys that are just in bins.
I know. I literally this morning I went for my morning run, and on the sidewalk I saw a plastic Dora the Explorer toy face down on the sidewalk. I was running by, and I was like, I was just stood there for a second. Just like profundity hitting me of just like, this is the modern world, is a Dora the Explorer plastic toy, like a corpse on the sidewalk.
Yes. And so when, that's so funny. You should have taken a picture.
I should have, yeah.
This means something. This is important.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
But that's kind of why I have mixed feelings about Secret Lair and why I think FOMO marketing doesn't really work on me as hard as I think on some people. I know, speaking of my having bad dreams about my ex, he was very much of the, oh my God, I have to buy this $60 game that just came out today. And I'm like, but you can't play it tomorrow. And you still are working through 2 other games that you bought, a few weeks ago. When are you going to have time to play this? Well, Amber, I just want to be part of the experience right now. So he'll boot it up. He'll be able to play it for a couple hours and then tweet about it or Tumblr about it or whatever, or even with his, he just wanted to be a part of that shared experience. And because I was raised in a cult and isolated most of my life,
you were raised to ignore the world.
I was raised to ignore. I'm half joking. I was raised to ignore the world, and so therefore it didn't work on me as strongly as somebody who had a quote unquote more shared experience that most people I think have, where it's like being part of something bigger is in participating in pulp culture is a thing that exciting to people and it feels good.
Yep, I agree.
Wow, does that answer your question?
I think so. I mean, it's along the same lines that I was thinking too, and bring it more back to just Magic rather than our global economic ecosystem. I feel like the whole FOMO marketing of like, if you miss this drop, it's gone forever. It kind of conflicts with how rapidly they release these.
Yeah.
Like they come out so often that I just have a sense of like, well, there's always going to be another one. there's always another that I could get and try to grab onto. And so it doesn't feel special, really, just because there's so many of them.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like getting desensitized. If you are constantly eating chocolate cake every day for weeks, eventually you're just like, oh my God, I don't care about chocolate cake anymore.
Yeah, I don't want
it. It's not as... But if you have a chocolate cake once a year on your birthday, then it becomes something special.
I mean, it's weird because this is a lesson that Magic, or at least the people who work for Magic, already know. I know they've written about, for example, in Zendikar, original Zendikar, they released full art lands, basic lands, for the first time outside of a unset. So these were the first like black bordered full art cards. Or maybe the unlands are black bordered. Anyway, the first in-game regular set full art lands. And tons of people said, you should just do this with all the basic lands because they look so much better than the regular lands. And the people working for Magic, the designers, the people writing articles were like, it needs to be a special treat. If this was every single time, it wouldn't feel special, right?
Yeah, it just becomes the norm.
Right. And then how do we treat you with basic lands? It just like now we have to go even further beyond.
Right.
And this is kind of the same thing where it's like, I like these special treats, but when you get them 24 times a year, when you get them every other week, it's like, it's hard to stay excited.
Well, and we can kind of, let's bring the feeling to a real thing too, like a real human experience that we're all sharing right now, which is this pandemic, right? It's the same thing, caution fatigue. Like you're exposed to this, threat or potential, let me say this again. You're exposed to this new reality. At first, you're like, oh shoot, this is new. I need to be very aware of what's going on. I have to be prepared for certain things. I have to change my life. I'm becoming very aware of it. And you live that way for so long, at some point you end up going, oh wait, pandemic? Unless you're a frontline worker, unless you're dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, I'm speaking obviously from the perspective of somebody who has been sheltering in place really diligently since March.
And it's had the ability to.
And has had the extreme fortunate ability to do so. Trust me, I'm super grateful that this year is not, that has not been lost on me, my position in all of this. But what I'm trying to relate it to is you just get, as humans, we get wear down. I think it's the same thing with information overload. I mean, the reason why I personally have struggles with the rate of information coming out is because I don't have as high of tolerance to that kind of cognitive load. I get bogged down pretty easy, pretty fast with, there is a real reason why I play aggressive. Yeah, I like it, but also I can't hold as much information in my head as I would like to. And this isn't a knock at me. This is just a legit fact. And I am drawn to certain easier, quote unquote, mechanics because it's easier on my brain.
I'd say more linear mechanics.
Yes, more linear. That's why I said, quote, easier.
Yeah.
Because linear is honestly easier on the brain. That's a legit thing. Whereas the more times you add conditions or variables to a situation, especially in Magic, it's harder to track. I can't hold as much stuff in my working memory. So I think the same thing goes for the rate drop of sets. I haven't had time to even go look at the last set thoroughly before, hey, there's another set coming out right now. And also there has been 4 Secret Lair drops in between that. I just can't.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I think we reviewed / looked at 3 Secret Lairs this year, and there's been so many. So here's my last thing. I don't have an answer for this. how do you think we would look at Secret Lair differently, or would we, if they had released like 4 Secret Lairs this year, or 2, or whatever? In my head, it's like 4.
If they did one every quarter, which is 4 is an easy number to track. And if they said every quarter, I know from my business perspective, March, June, I'm doing it in my head.
Yeah. I can hear it happening.
I would have been set timers for it. I would have been like, okay, I want to know.
I think there's hope that they will go that way, because they have said that in 2021 they want to go with just super drops rather than releasing, hey, here's this one set 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, it would be...
They want to release like big bunches of sets that you can get in a bundle.
That was literally what I was going to say next, is like, if I was to change how this worked, I would do every quarter 1 super drop with 4 sets. 4, 4, 4.
And then I think one good thing about that too is when a super drop lands, because they're so varied in what the different sets have, there's a good chance there'll be something that you are excited about.
Right.
Like we looked at this, you were excited about Bob Ross, so was I. I was excited about Seth McKinnon. I didn't care about some of the other stuff. Other people are going to be excited about Squirrels or about Mana Rocks or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there you build up anticipation. What's the next super drop going to bring us?
Right.
As opposed to now where, in my head, I'm just seeing the professor like, new Secret Lair alert, where he has his meme about like, he's trying to talk about a Secret Lair and there's another one that's being announced. That's what it feels like. We're a little bit behind this super drop that just got announced, and it feels like we're eon. That was so long ago.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, even with this year being what it was, I don't think that would have changed how I felt about that either. Like if this was a quote unquote normal year without all the stuff going on, would it have felt, because time is all Jeremy bury me up in here, so that's a good place reference for you, Kenny. Somebody will get it.
Really?
Someone will get it, maybe.
Did you get the reference?
To what?
Let us know on Twitter.
Oh.
We're at RedBlueMTG, and I'm at Wolfmere on Twitter.
I guess we're doing an outro. It surprised me. Whoa, I didn't expect this. Truly a super drop of an outro. I'm Amber. You can find me on Twitter at Rocket Orca. I'm terrified right now. That's legitimately, I was like, oh, we're ending the show. Usually I'm the one that drops the axe on this show.
Well, we are at recording time, 52 minutes.
Oh,
so I
shit.
think it's a good time to cut. And I saw a great place for a patented Amber segue into a different thing, and I just took it.
Great. Wonderful. I'm glad you did, although now I've pissed myself.
In conclusion, the end. We love you.
Gross. Don't tell anybody that.
We like you.
Don't tell them that either.
You're okay. Just friends.
Not even.
Bye-bye.
Bye.